Hello and welcome to EDC Cast, your audio connection to economic development news in Sarasota County. I'm David Voss, and we're delighted to bring you highlights from the Economic Outlook 10 luncheon held on January 22nd at Michael's on East, presented by the Economic Development Corporation of Sarasota County and its presenting sponsor, Shoemaker, Loop, and Kendrick, LLP. Well, the good news is that the recession is over, but there's no celebration because of high unemployment. Keynote speaker Sean Snaith, director of the Institute for Economic Competitiveness at the University of Central Florida, puts it into graphic terms.
We've got a scar as well on the economy, and that scar is the labor market. And that scar is going to be there for years, reminding us of the economic trauma that we've been through. And it's going to be very slow, unfortunately, that scar of the labor market to fade.
Snaith predicts a tough year ahead because of everything we've already been through.
I've heard, not from experience, but I've heard that the hangover is in direct proportion to the party the night before. And we had a lampshade kind of night when it came to the housing market. I mean, that was a doozy. We were growing at the peak of that boom like China. Real gross state product was growing at 8% at one point. That drove down the unemployment to an unbelievably low level of 3.3%. Well, we all know the story about what happened in the residential real estate sector, and that boom went bust, and now we're feeling the aftermath of that euphoria and that boom.
Changes in our demographics in Florida also played a role. We actually lost population because of fewer seniors and fewer jobs.
Without that influx of population, it makes growth a more difficult prospect. Previous recessions, we could always count on that population influx to help pull us out of the recession. And more people came into Florida, they needed places to live, so it fed into the construction industry. We're going to have to focus on diversification. We've learned some harsh lessons over this crisis as far as diversification is concerned, not only in our personal finances, but in our economies as well. And it's going to take really smart people working to diversify the economy, having the support of government at the state and local level, because we're not going to be able to rely on that old population growth driver to be the sole engine of Florida's economy. People will come back, but that growth rate is going to be much slower than it has been historically.
And his prediction for 2010?
It will certainly be a better year than 2009. What I think we see is the end of the recession in Florida. We see the stabilization of the job market, but we don't see anything in terms of robust growth. I think the unemployment rate will drift higher from where it is today, not by a lot, maybe up to 12.1%. And I think payroll job losses will come to an end here in the first quarter of the year. But we're not going to go from a period of rising unemployment and job losses to one of rapidly declining unemployment and strong job growth. What we're going to see is rather weak job growth when it does first appear later in 2010. So 2010, the best thing to say about it is it's not 2009. I think 2011 is the year when we really start to see some of that growth kick up a notch and we start to see the numbers coming out of Florida's economy that we've been accustomed to.
One of the local panelists during the event, Rob Campbell of Volt, is seeking talent to help his high-tech company grow. What are the challenges for recruiting young people into Sarasota County?
Look at the average age of Sarasota. Its perception in the country is that it's God's waiting room. So if you're a 26-year-old hot engineer straight out of Stanford, Sarasota is not on your list of top 3 places to live. You know, it's Boston, Austin, Texas, maybe the Research Triangle, Northern California. So that's what we're competing against, is perception. Now, once they get here and they see what we have to offer here, we get to keep them. But it's the recruiting the top talent throughout the U.S. that's the biggest problem.
C.J. Fishman, the current chairman of the EDC board, believes there are 2 roadblocks to economic recovery, and we can overcome both of them.
There are 2 roadblocks. One's mindsets. I think we've kind of overcome the mindsets. Finally, the county has come together and said we can't all be about housing. It's important, but it's not all about housing. We have to diversify our economy, just like you have to diversify with your investments. So if one's not doing well, another one holds on. And eventually they all recover. That's one roadblock, which I think we pretty much overcome. The second roadblock, I think, that is that we have to get rid of parochialism. Everybody being in their own silos, doing their own thing. And I think we're starting to get to that. We've all got a common thread right now. It's economic stability for all of us, to be able to be stable financially, emotionally, security-wise. And we need to come together as a county, not individual towns. We need to come together as one county through the EDC and build on our assets. And if we do that, then we're going to take this county to the next level for the next 50 years.
The EDC would like to thank its event sponsors, Biz 941, Florida Power and Light, Regions Bank, Verizon, and Stephen A. Smith and Associates. For more information, visit www.edcsarasotacounty.com. And remember, you can follow the EDC on twitter.com/EDC Sarasota. Thank you for joining this EDC Cast.